everybody, my name is Sam, this is Big Nerds Wargaming, and today I am painting Rabute Gilman, the Primarch of the Ultramarines, the Avenging Sun, and is also my Golden Demon submission. Oh no, I already broke him. I'm going to be submitting him for Golden Demon this year at Adepticon, and I know I'm probably not going to win, but I think it would be cool to make a submission anyways, and just see how well I can paint Gilliman, the best of my ability. So yeah, that's my plan. To just kind of push myself and see what I can do. So I already kind of got a start on him over the weekend, and I just gluing this torch back on here that I broke off. Already breaking my my model I'm gonna submit. Hopefully this will mend just fine. But yeah, so I got a start on him already. I did the primer gray, and I did purple for the shadow, and then I did a zenithal bright yellow for the light. It's kind of hard to see on him now because I already started painting, but like here you can see the chest. We got some nice shadow in here. Let me just focus this. Got some nice shadow in the chest, and you can see the light. So I did the light sources. He's got a flaming sword he's holding. There's also some torches on his base that are shining on his armor. I took some pictures of him all primed up so I can go back and reference those, because it will be kind of hard to see once I get more coats of paint on here. So let me just show that real quick. So here's kind of what I did using purple and yellow with the airbrush. I took some reference photos so I can remember where the light was coming from, because he's all in a sub-assembly right now, and it's going to be really hard to keep track of. So yeah, painting Rabute Gilliman. So it should be fun. I'm probably already about 5 or 6 hours in, believe it or not. I did some work on the leg here, and I'm also, for the first time, doing non-metallic metal. I'm trying a recipe I found for gold. I think it looks okay. I'm not, like, fully sold on it. I have seen better implementations of this, but for a first attempt, I'm pretty happy with this, actually. So I'm going to try to repeat this pattern throughout the rest of his armor here. And I had also got a jump start on his flaming sword. I'm probably going to go back in here and add a little bit more light to the flame, but definitely a good start here. It's looking hot, it's looking bright, just what we want. So yeah, working with light and some non-metallic metal. So really pushing myself here on some technique that I don't normally do, and you know, might as well give it a shot. So let me get my palette prepared with some shades of blue that I'll be using. So starting off, I'm gonna get some Cantor blue. Let's grab a junk brush here. Cantor blue. We'll go up in lightness here onto Macragge blue. Just dial that music back a little bit. And in my headphones here, it's kind of loud. Alright. So Macragge blue is the main lit tone. Kind of the average color I'm looking for. in his armor. And then going lighter, I'm gonna go with Altdorf Guard Blue. Give this a good shake. So Altdorf Guard Blue followed by Kelgar Blue for now. And then once I kind of get it all painted, I'm gonna go back and do some more highlights and kind of play with the light and darkness a little bit more. But I want to get most of the shading done on the armor before I do the gold filigree, because it'll be easier and overall cleaner. So, just gonna give this a good shake here. Altdorf Guard Blue. And next up is Kelgar Blue. I think this will be all we need for now. Also working with the dry winter humidity. It's very dry, so my wet palette kind of dries out, and it's been kind of a pain working with this. So I've been doing a lot of glazing in order to do this layering and whatnot, so kind of like working on a clock, which is a little annoying, but that's what happens when you paint in the middle of winter. Alright, so Kelgar Blue. It's looking good. Alright. Now I have a little bit of Altdorf Guard Blue on the end and 2 dollops because I gotta mix in some Abaddon Black just for an even darker blue for the shadow. So I'm gonna mix that in, and then my palette should be all set to start blocking in blending some light and darkness of the armor. Let's see how this looks. Might be a little too much black. Pull that back to blue. Add some Tantor blue back to there. Yeah, maybe like a 2-to-1 ratio. Nice, deep, rich blue. Alright. Now I'm going to stick with this brush for now. And start going to town here. So, we got some dark shade. So I'm going to start working on the right leg, or the left leg here. And we'll meet in the middle once I finish that up. So we got some good shade down in here, so I'm going to get that kind of crease there. I already kind of started blocking in some of the blues here, but I want to go back and just do a little bit more. You can kind of see some of the yellow primer underneath, so I want to fix that. So the color is a little bit more opaque. Let's move into Tantor. I want to keep the paint nice and thin. Got some shade up here. kind of tricky because we got light sources coming from a couple different places, so I'm trying to appropriately reflect that. Now onto the McCrag blue. That's honestly going to be most of this color here. Most of these more well-lit areas. And we'll layer on some Altdorf Guard on top of that. So these feet in particular are going to be a bit brighter. So maybe I'll start pulling in some of that Altdorf Guard. Feet there. Okay, where we got that light hitting. Especially here on this section, it's gonna be nice and bright. So there's a torch gonna be right in front of his leg there, so it's gonna really pick up a lot of light. Mix a little bit of Altdorf with McCrag blue. Add some water, get it nice and thin. Start blending these together. So I'm hoping to have this thing finished in maybe this month, maybe sometime next month. I don't want to be painting it up until the last few days, you know. It has to kind of get it done, sit on it for a while, maybe go back and make some little adjustments here and there. But I want it to feel pretty good about it fairly soon. Alright, so we're going to try to get some light coming down here, and then at the top by his kneecap, where it's going to get a little bit brighter. Jump back to the McCrag blue. I can mix some McCrag blue with some Cantor blue. Kind of like a medium darkish. Bobby G for Golden D. Nice. Yes. As I was explaining earlier, I don't think I'm gonna win. Course, but you know, I think it'd be a good experience to push myself just to see, you know, how well I can make him look to the best of my ability. Good learning experience all around. Trying some non-metallic metal for his gold trim. Doing a lot of blending here. This is probably about maybe 5 or 6 hours in already. definitely not practical for regular painting. But like I said, yeah, this is a Golden Demon submission. I've always wanted to try and submit something. So, you know, sometimes you just gotta do it, right? So that's what I'm doing. But so far, I'm liking the way it's turning out. A couple things I wish I was doing a little bit better, but you know, you only get better by trying and practicing, so. Live boldly. That's right. Speaking of Golden Demon and Adepticon, I am all registered. I signed up for it this weekend. Looking forward to it. Doing the Long Wars doubles again. I'm teaming up with Ben, a face who has appeared on the channel many times. Good old Ben. So we're teaming up with our knights. He's gonna be doing Chaos Knights, and I'm gonna be running Imperial Knights for a friendly Long War double tournament. And then got some other various events, some battle tech, some painting. And I am doing some more 40k on the last day, and a really casual, it's called 40k Flex. I think you just kind of bring a casual list and play with people, and it should be fun. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think it'll be a good time. I'm gonna start taking that Kelgar blue, mix in some Altdorf Guard. I'm gonna get it to a nice glaze consistency, and I'm gonna actually move up to a finer tip brush. I'm gonna do a small layer brush here. Need some more control. I'm not going to make it to Adepticon this year, unfortunately. It's too bad. But yeah, it's I know, especially coming from out of the area, it can be a lot with airfare, hotel, on top of the admission for the show itself. More water. Just gonna carefully glaze in little lines here, where I want it to be lighter on his armor. I want a little streak down here on the front of his thigh, where the light is kind of catching in a more extreme manner. Also at the top of the kneecap. Yeah, so I primed this guy with a gray primer, and then I did a purple for the shadow, and a kind of a yellow for the light. It's kind of see if that would show through my layers a little bit, and it has influenced the color a little bit, but as I keep painting here, I cover up that, you know, initial primer color, but it is helping to inform where the light's coming from. So I took some reference photos so I can kind of go back and see where the light is coming from, because he's got like his glowing sword, he's got some torches on his base. So just want to make sure I don't lose track of that as I'm adding some paint to him. I love to gab with folks from Monument Hobbies and all the content producers out there. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of them. You're walking around, you're just like, hey, I've seen like a bunch of videos by that person. It's kind of surreal, just seeing all these familiar faces that you watch all the time, everywhere. But, I mean, the event's only getting bigger, so I don't think it's going anywhere. It'll be there next year. Yeah, it's a good time as always. So I'm doing, what am I doing? So I'm doing those tournaments like I mentioned. I'm doing an intro to Battletech, and I'm also doing an intro to Star Wars Legion. Learn to play Legion. That game has always looked kind of cool to me. So you can just show up and they have like a table ready and they teach you how to play, so I'm gonna do that. And doing a couple events where they give you a mini and you paint the mini. Kind of really chill. I think that'd be fun. And yeah, then the 40K Flex event and the doubles tournament. Oh, and there's also a Space Hulk game I'm gonna be playing. Going the non-metallic route with Bobby. Yep, I am trying non-metallic metal. I never paint this way because it's really impractical, but for Golden Demon, I will give it a shot. So this is a gold recipe I found online. I think it looks okay. It's not the smoothest of blends, but it's a good starting place. And I think once I get it all painted up, maybe I'll go in there and do some targeted cleanup work and fix some of those blends a little bit. We'll see. Or maybe it will all look more cohesive once it's all done. So. But I think this leg actually is looking pretty good as far as the blues go. So, I'm going to start doing some of the trim work on this leg. And we'll start with the back plate, I guess. Actually, we'll start from the foot up. So start this back plate here and work our way around. I like it. Awesome. Okay, so for this gold, we do Rhinox hide. My pellet set up for the gold. Rhinox hide. So you're gonna need a little bit of Rhinox hide for the next part. Do some damn fine work, Sam. Even when I'm looking at something in process and thinking that won't work, you always save the day. Thank you. I'm just trying to imitate what I see. I'm going to take a Scrag Brown, mix it with the Mornfang a little bit, so we get somewhere in between Scrag brown and Mornfang brown. For the next layer there. And then gonna grab some Everland Sunset next. I see Santa Claus all put together in the background. Oh yes! I mostly finished him. I just have to finish the base a little bit, do some dry brush on there, but yeah, he's pretty much all done. The Acolyte Icon Ward. I think it turned out pretty good. Happy with it. Everland Sunset's the next color. Very nicely done. Thank you. Thank you. Then we're gonna go with Shotty Bone. Apologize for the chat lag. No worries. I apologize for my reading lag. I don't always see the chats right away. I'm a little distracted. Alright, so Shotty Bone. And then lastly, we're going to do Wraithbone for our highlight color. This is a brand new pot of Wraithbone. All right. Let's do some gold. So we start with the brown, the Rhinox hide. I'm just going to go all the way around there. Oh no. Already made a mistake. Let's see if I can clean this up. Touchy, touchy, touchy. Mistakes are very costly when you do this much layering, though. It's always frustrating. I've been pretty good. I haven't really made any big blunders. Of course, now that I'm doing this on camera, I'm starting to rush a little bit. I need to slow down. Blocking all the color with Rhinox hide first, and then we'll start building up the gold layers, and it'll suddenly start looking like gold. A cartoonish gold. I'm normally not a fan of non-metallic metal, but I think, well, A, because it's kind of like, it takes a long time to paint, so I would never paint that for like regular miniatures that I'm gonna be gaming with, because that's just insanity. It's very not practical. And then generally, I think it looks a little cartoony, and I'm normally not a huge fan of that. However, I think with Gilliman's armor trim, the surface area is smaller instead of like big, huge panels of non-metallic metal that you'd be painting. So I think it kind of works, and it looks interesting. So, and also I find it kind of tricky to do, so I just kind of avoid it. So I say I don't really like it. Wet palette is just drying out. It's so dry down here. Yes, 12 levels of insane. Yeah, the only time I think it makes sense is if you're doing a competition piece. Alright, let's get this dark blue down in this crack before I get too far here. I'm switching to a smaller brush already. I need more control. Small layer brush. Just gotta trust the process. One step at a time. Put a little skull on this ankle servo joint. Honestly, this first pass here is one of the more delicate ones. It's because you want to get all the way up to the blue if possible. And I've already made a little mistake there. Let me just touch that up. Go back here and touch up earlier mistake some more. Still see the brown a little bit. Okay. And continuing on. Yeah, we'll see how much I paint tonight. I might get this other leg done. We'll see. That'd be a good amount of progress. Also trying not to rush myself, because I start getting tired, I start rushing, and I get a little impatient, so trying to train myself to stop when I'm feeling a little tired from painting the same kind of thing over and over, and just come back to it when I'm feeling fresh again. Trying to paint this to the best of my ability. Let's see how it goes. That is indeed a Bobby G. Hello, Travis. Welcome. Can you imagine a whole Custodes army painted in non-metallic metal? That would be insane. At least it's only like 30 models. Yeah, 30 models. Well, this one's taking me some time. I think I'm like 6 hours in. Necrons, oh yeah. Whew. Travis, are you doing Adepticon this year? Alright, once I get this panel all lined here, I'm gonna move on to the next colors, and we'll come around to the other panels after. So that way I can complete something here. I want to try to get a 2 to 3 RTTs in this year, then a GT or 2 next year as well. Wow. Nice. I'm doing a tournament on the 25th at a local store. Gonna do a night list there. Kind of prep myself for using my knights for when I go to Adepticon with them. I'm not a super good tournament player. But I try. I wanted to make that one, but couldn't swing it. Well, that means I won't have to face you and your space wolves. When I get in the crack here, my darker blue mix, shade that up a little bit, and go back and touch up with the brown. It's always easier to paint from the inside out. Alright. And touch up a little bit down in here. Alright, let's come around to the back here and start building up that metal. It's crazy, some people talk about having 400 plus hours in the Golden Demon entry. Yeah, that's insane. That's stupid. That's kind of like... I don't know. Like, I get it. It's like a very... It's become a pretty prestigious painting competition now for Warhammer, but... to do that much painting for one entry... I don't know. It kind of ruins it for everybody else. I'm going to try very carefully to get the edge of this. I've done it. I think I've done it. Alright, now before I go any further, I will take some Drakenhof Nightshade and a very, very thin brush, and I'm just going to do like a quick recess shade around all that filigree to help blend that brown and the blue together a little bit more and add some shadow, some what do you call that kind of shadow? Ambient occlusion? No. Something like that. I'm forgetting the technical term for it. Maybe it is ambient occlusion. Just the slight shade you get around raised surfaces. I don't want to overdo it, but just a little bit. This will also help the trim here stand out a little bit more once I start painting the gold. But nice and subtle here. I'm also thinning this out with some water so it's a little bit more flowy. It'll kind of naturally gravitate towards the crease there with the detail popping out. "5 o'clock shadow," that's it. Painted a Caladius Saturday night, putting some Telemon STLs on a build plate now. I want to print another Caladius and Teleron this weekend. Ooh. "3D printing is changing the hobby." Apparently not affecting Games Workshop's profit margins, though. They're on track to have their most profitable year. Speaking of 3D printers, I'm getting a new one. A new filament one, that is. My resin one I love. I'm still using that. I'm getting a Bamboo Lab, and it should be arriving on Thursday. I'm excited about that. Wanted one that's got a little bit of an upgrade to what I previously had, and want to print some more terrain with it, along with other just general functional prints, little gizmos and gadgets. I mean, if it's as good as it looks, and I keep hearing nothing but good things about them, it should be pretty solid printer. Alright. We are prepped. Now I can start doing some gold. Exciting, yes. GW resin is quite terrible. It is. It's horrible. It's the worst. And then there's models that people want, but they can't even get because they don't make them anymore. So people turn to 3D printing. So as I start layering this up here, I want to keep some of that Rhinox hide visible all the way to the end. I'm just kind of layering on this brown mixture. A couple spots here. Especially I want the highlight to show. Just going around here. Kind of like, I think I want to just kind of like add a little bit here, move over, leave a little gap of the brown, the dark brown, and then add some more. Kind of like so. And then I'm going to take the Mornfang brown, or the Scraggish brown. I'll call it Scraggish brown because it's a mixture. And I'll mix in some Everland Sunset. Make it a little bit warmer. A little bit more in the yellow. I'm just going to come in here and start to layer that in. Over the brown, while also trying to keep the previous layer showing a little bit. A little bit of blending if possible. I need a little bit more water mixed in here. Especially areas that are like pointed. I want those to shine. Just like that. Then I'm gonna come in with Everland Sunset. Get some water added in there. Candaras, yes. Well, they gotta have something to reveal in 11th edition for Eldar. They can't do it all at once. They're very calculated. Add the Everland Sunset. It's kind of like a highlight-ish. I don't want to fully cover everywhere I did before, but I do want this to kind of show through. Give us that nice rich gold color. Kind of figuring this out as I go. But I did do one leg already, and I think it looks alright. Could be better, but it's not bad. So I can better explain what the heck I'm doing here, because I think I've kind of figured out what I'm supposed to be doing. Alright, so we got some of that gold built up, and now I'm going to take Ushati Bone. Mix in just a little bit of Everland Sunset. We're going to do it all over again. Mix in some water too, get this nice and thin. Just going to pick out some smaller highlights here and there. Just a little touch of color, little touch of light. That may have just been a little bit too much there. Let's see if I can clean that up. There we go. It's a bit better. Alright. Kind of glazing here. I've heard this technique called a glaze drawing, where you get just a little bit on your brush. And you draw little lines. I'm also going to do a little bit of edge highlighting to kind of better blend it all together. I'm going to take Ushati bone on its own. Just stick to the most pointiest bits that'll be reflecting light. For the gold, like these corners especially, I've been kind of building up the lighter color. Like at the top of this servo joint. These corners of the skull. A little bit on the skull's face. Just kind of dialing back the yellow a little bit. Alright, and then lastly, take a little bit of wraith bone. Very small amount. Let's get some water in there. Just going to do some very pin spot highlights. So like this corner here. The tip of this little... these little details. There we go. A little bit of gold down there. I'm gonna actually take some Ushadi bone, mix it with the blanking on the name, wraith bone. Fade that back just a little bit. Let me do some more blending. A little bit of glazing over the brown a little bit. See how that looks. This is kind of where I start to do a little back and forth blending until I think it looks a little bit better. I'll kind of darken this up a little bit here. Take some of my brown mixture and mix it with the Ranax hide a little bit more. Kind of in-betweenish color. Get it nice and thin. Really thin. Do a little bit of glazing. I want it to be darker. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it there and we'll see what it looks like. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. Let's just fix this a little bit here. That's the thing, it's like I gotta go back and build up all the colors again. There we go. Okay, so we got a little bit of gold there. Let's do this back plate here. See, I think I may have actually gone over this. I am remembering now. I think I went over this with Seraphim Sepia, just to kind of, like, help blend this all together. And I think that does help. But I'll do this backplate and we'll see what it looks like. Maybe I'll go ahead and do that. Man, it's a process. Alright, so come in with our lighter brown here. And we do it all over again. Get my way around here. Slowly building it up. Little by little. Yeah, I can't imagine sitting down and just painting this all day. That would drive me insane. A little bit more shadow in between his legs here. But I think gold still is shiny, even in shadow. Not as shiny, of course, but it will still catch the light. So I'm not going to be too worried about trying to do it less or more, depending on the light in the area. I'm just going to try to repeat this non-metallic gold pattern all around, and then maybe I'll try to adjust it after I have like a base down. Try to play with the lighting a little bit more, or maybe I'll just leave it as is. I'm not gonna sweat it too much. The only way you get better at a technique is practicing it, so that's the whole point of this whole exercise. Just seeing what I can do. I originally wasn't going to do non-metallic metal, but I didn't want to get laughed out of the room, so. That's mostly a joke. I know that no one would laugh me out of the room. But, you know. want to challenge myself. So, see how it goes. Alright, so, got the medium-ish brown. I think I like this mostly. Yeah. I think I'm okay with this. We're going to move on to next color. The medium brown mixed with Everland Sunset. Let's thin that out. It's time for a sip. Oh, that's good. What's everyone working on these days? What's on your hobby desk? Let me know in the chat. My dinner. Nice. Man's gotta eat, right? Had some soup for my dinner. Nice for a cold day like today. We had a high of 10. Lovely winter cold day in Wisconsin. So what temps do you Sunday? See what temps do you Sunday, Monday? Gross. This Sunday or Monday? Or like the last Sunday and Monday? They've been a bit chilly. Monday's high, 0 degrees. Yikes. You know, if we're gonna have winter weather like this, I'd at least like there to be snow on the ground, because it looks nice. I hate it when it's just cold and there's no snow. So it's kind of a bummer. Although snow when it's happening is kind of annoying. Unless, of course, you had something planned that you didn't want to go to. You're like, oh, sorry, I can't go, it's snowing. Too cold to snow. Yes! It's too cold to snow. That's a funny phrase. Usually when people hear that, they're like, what? What do you mean, too cold to snow? Like, yes. Too cold to snow. It's that cold. I think I'm remembering what I'm doing here. I don't apply Avalanche Sunset directly. I think I do a mixture of that with the Shoddy Bone. So it's kind of working as like a stealth yellow, adding the warm tones with mixtures of other paints. Just kind of feeling it out as I go. My paint is drying up. I hate this. It's one thing that holds up true to Slay the Gray. It's the sentiment. I should write down these paint recipes. Haha. That is true. You got me there. I have a pretty good memory. Until I don't. I have definitely pulled up an older stream and scrubbed through the video to see what I did when I tried to go back and paint something. It's like, oh, how did I do that? I mean, that's the real reason I'm doing this, is so I can record all my painting recipes. This right here has got to get fixed. I don't like this. I think that's a little bit better. Yeah, and over here we got a little bit too much of a... intense blend going on. Dial this back just a hair. More water. We need more water. This is where it gets really tedious. The back and forth blending, back and forth. Till it looks okay. Shoot. Just tainted my palette. Some colors I don't want. Are you planning on doing any YouTube videos on the Golden Demon entry progress too, or is it just a stream? I haven't decided yet. I have not decided. I might. I haven't really been documenting too much. Because honestly, when I started this, I was like, am I going to go through with this? And I kind of decided, yes, I am. And I figured maybe I could just do it on stream. Along with not on stream. So I need to do some off stream so to kind of figure out what the heck I'm doing. Like I did this leg first, so I can kind of like, oh yeah, this is how I do it. I might, yeah. My videos have been I haven't really put out any videos lately. I did one before Christmas, but I haven't really got around to doing anything since. I would like to, though. But I also need to paint a lot, too, so. And I was unemployed for a little bit during this fall, so I had more time to do YouTube content and other painting, but now I've started a new job, so I back to figuring out how to balance life again. Yeah, I do have a lot of plans I want to do for the channel. Some more narrative campaigns and content, some more terrain crafting, more painting videos. I was thinking about doing an Aspect Warrior paint series, starting with the Dire Avengers, and then I see Duncan Rhodes puts out a video on how to paint Dire Avengers. I'm like, well, shoot. I can't do this now. People will think I'm just trying to copy him. But yeah, I might. I don't know. I suppose, like, if I do it all on stream, I could, like, grab clips from the stream and do a video on the whole process. Although I definitely don't have my undercoating priming process, but I do have pictures, so that would work. Yeah, I don't know. To be determined. I do need to figure out what I want to do next, though. For a video. That's for sure. My self-imposed schedule is every other week, and there's supposed to be one coming out this Friday, which is definitely not happening, so... maybe on the next 2-week cycle, I'll get back on my rhythm again. We'll see. Yeah, I think I did do Seraphim Sepia Shade, so I'm going to do that and just try to warm this up, blend it a little bit. I think it's pretty subtle, but this is a subtle kind of thing. And I think I went back over and did some more highlights if I felt like I needed to punch a little bit more. Because I'm looking at this leg compared to the other leg, and the other leg looks like it's a little bit overall warmer. Like it's got that Seraphim Sepia treatment. So I think just kind of glazing this on, this wash on, kind of help blend and tie it all together just a little bit with overall color tone. At least that's my hope. And I may come back around to this once I get more of the model done and kind of play with the blending a little bit, maybe do some touch-ups here and there. But yeah, like I think I want to do just a little bit of I already see a spot that I want to try to fix a little bit. Maybe up here. Get some of that brown in there. Come in with some of the Ushati bone. It's also challenging now too because the dry palette is like, bruh, I'm drying out. There, that looks a little bit more consistent with the first leg. I'm okay with that. Alright, now I got the front panel to do. Woo! What time is it? 8:24. Wow, look at that. It's been an hour and a half, and I've painted... I did the blue on the leg, and I did this back panel. That's, wow. What's your opinion on the Awakening of the Grim Dark? Are you into it? Or keep Space Marines male and Custodes? Oh boy, The Awakening of the Grim Dark. Well, first of all, I think there's what some people want in the setting, and then there's what the setting is, and what Games Workshop is doing. So, I think Games Workshop is actually playing a fine line of not really strongly appeasing, just changing the lore to fit a political narrative. I don't know, I think generally that's kind of, I know it's a very touchy subject for a lot of people. I'm not like, let me give an example. Uh, Station Forge just came out with some proxy miniatures. They're essentially proxies for Adeptus Sororitas, but they are brothers of battle. And I'm like, that's kind of dumb, because the whole thing about the Sororitas is they're a sisterhood of battle. Kind of like how the Space Marines are like a brotherhood of battle. They're like a brotherhood and they're like a sisterhood. So I think that they should stay that way. And I don't think Games Workshop is going to change that. But what they are doing, to kind of modernize a little bit more with modern culture, is instead of necessarily like changing that kind of stuff. I mean, there is the Custodes thing, which is a whole other can of worms, kind of. I guess I'm okay with the Custodes change. I don't like how they went about it. It just kind of seemed like it was just a stupid way to go about it. Just kind of like gaslighting everybody, saying, "Oh, there's always been female Custodes." It's like, no, there clearly hasn't. You just retconned it, and now you're kind of insulting everyone the way you're retconning it. Yeah. So what they are doing, which I think is smart, is they're making room for more representation that still fits the setting. So like, they're adding more female Astra Militarum characters, more female humans, and to me, I think that fits the lore, because there's like the Astra Militarum, they don't care if you're a man or a woman. They just want you to fight and die for the Emperor. So, and humans are breeding like rats everywhere, so there's going to be a lot of people, men and women, so they're all working, they're all fighting, they're all dying. That makes total sense. It fits the lore, and it makes room for them to introduce more strong, female characters if that's what they want to do. So yeah, I think that's, more power to them. I think that's the way to do it. As well as building up on, like the Sisters of Silence and like the Adeptus Sororitas. They have a lot of really cool characters too there. So I think that's the smart way to do it. And yeah, so that's kind of my 2 cents on that whole topic. I don't want to get too much into it because I know it's really controversial, and I don't want people to take what I say out of context and cancel me. Yeah, I guess to summarize, I think there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it, and it should just be done with some tact and some care. I agree with that. I appreciate the honesty. All right. I don't know. I think it's important to not, fall too hard in one camp. If you want to classify it as left or right in this kind of thing, because both sides kind of blow things out of proportion a little bit. On one hand, you'll have activist left crowd saying it's not woke enough. There's not enough representation because it's not what they want to see. And then similarly on the right, you have, I guess, a lot of accusations of wokeness everywhere, and maybe it's kind of like, okay, maybe you're going a little too far too. So honestly, I think if we all just deleted Facebook, society would be so much better. We'd all be a lot more chill. We'd get along more. We'd be less entrenched in our tribalism. I actually deleted my Facebook like 4 years ago, and one of the best decisions I've ever made. Would highly recommend it. It's a good way to just cleanse your mind of all the cultural BS out there. Everyone's fighting for your attention. Take it back. Yeah, I guess generally yes. I agree with that sentiment. They already have female army dedicated to women. They have Imperial Guard, like you said. Just leave the rest the way it's always been. I mean, and they can advance the lore, and if they find a way that makes it fit the lore and isn't just a total like obvious pandering to any particular group, I don't know. It just yeah, I don't see a good way for them to change it. But then again, I'm not a lore writer, so maybe there is an interesting way and a compelling way to add it to the story. Who knows? The future will tell. I think yeah, they but yeah, they're going about it pretty carefully, I think, and adding, your representation of more types of people and characters, in places where it makes sense. Play Eldari, mix of both. There you go. For sure. Yeah, they got some cool elf characters like your Vayne. And I like that it also kind of harkens back to classic fantasy, like Lord of the Rings. There aren't many female characters in Lord of the Rings, but the ones that are elves. A lot of them are elves. They're very powerful characters. And I think that's neat, having different kinds of people or races and having different strengths that they show and all that kind of stuff. I think it makes for interesting storytelling and world building. It'll be sloppy. No Dan Abnett novel. You're saying it'll be no Dan Abnett novel, not like it won't be a Dan Abnett novel. I think I'm just confusing myself now. You're saying you like Dan Abnett because I think his books are pretty good. Yeah. That's a topic I have opinions on, as you can tell. I'm trying to choose my words carefully because I don't want people to get the wrong impression on what I'm saying, take it out of context, all that bad stuff. Yeah. And generally, I want to try to keep the channel um, apolitical and just kind of focus on established lore and less speculation in that area when we start to get to the cultural war here. Just stick to the setting, what we have, and not what we want it to be. Understand what it is. Because Warhammer is for everyone. I'm pretty sure most people can find something in Warhammer that they like. And they can also find stuff in Warhammer that they don't like. And that's okay. But for focusing on culture wars, we aren't focusing on class wars. Ooh. Alright now. Let's not get political here. I guess Warhammer is something that I think should be an escape from reality and current, situations. And yeah. We shouldn't be so quick to make it something that reflects society today or what we want to see. I don't know where I'm going with that, but if it starts not feeling like an escape, then I feel like it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So it's to capture your imagination and be an escape from reality that a lot of different people from many walks of life can enjoy in their own way. Warhammer is a great circus. Bread and the circus, a tale old as time. What's your opinion on Imperial Fists? Just started an army. Everyone wonders why the fists. Yeah, why the fists? Just kidding. No, they're fine. I think they're cool, I guess. I do think Rogel Dorn's kind of a dick. But, no, I think they look really cool. The yellow armor. Definitely, I think it could be a painting challenge. But if you have an airbrush, I think you'll be in good shape. I haven't tried this, but I heard that if you undercoat it with pink, yellow will actually brush on really easily. And you'll get good coverage. No love for my yellow boys. No, I didn't say that. I think they're cool. They build fortresses and walls and stuff. Ooh, you want to see something really amateur? Look at this. See this crack? Right here in his leg? No, there's no way I'm going to win Golden Demon with that. I'm doing my army in a green style similar to the Raptors with yellow helmets. Ah, so are they going to be a Imperial Fist's successor chapter? I suppose with the rule set you can paint your army however you want. I don't know if you know this, but there used to be a time where if you were playing Imperial Fists, they had to be painted yellow. Like you couldn't paint them as a recognizable other chapter and play a different rule set. But they've kind of made the rules a little bit more generic. Obviously, so there's like that detachment that's Imperial Fists in spirit, but it's not actually called Imperial Fists. Which I kind of like that approach, because that way it lets you try out different playstyles without having to like have an army that looks like that chapter per se. Wow. Oh wait. I already read that. Never mind. I'm all caught up on chat. Now this non-metallic gold recipe works really well on these eagle wings. There's a lot of edges, and yeah, it just kind of naturally works. It's like doing the little skull on the other leg back here. Right here, like that skull was just really easy to do. Get some more Rhinox hide. Just fists with green bodies, alright. You watch Chapter Master Valrak, I think he's got He likes Imperial Fists. That's his army. Although I don't think he plays anymore. He just collects. Yeah, he did a while back. A video a while back why he doesn't play 10th. I didn't watch it, but I just remember seeing it. Alright, so this little banner under the eagle, I'm going to do an ivory, and it won't be gold. Going to add some variation to his decoration. Get this round knee joint here. It's a very, very tedious process. Honestly, just finishing this model and submitting it and seeing it in the display case next to all the other entries will be reward enough for me. It's already killing me. This is insane. Just gotta take it one step at a time. Do you always use Seraphim Sepia on gold? If I'm painting over gold metallic, like if I'm using metallic paint, I use Seraphim Sepia. Another one I do, actually I do this more. I use, what's it called? Reichland Flesh Shade. I use this to wash over like Retributor armor or other golds. And this kind of gets a nice, good, rich, dark wash over the gold. And then I'll go back and do some highlights with like some 50-50 gold and a silver, like a bright silver color. Mix that 50-50 and then do some highlights. That looks really good. I don't have any examples in front of me of... Actually, I do... Yeah. So an example of that would be this, the Sternguard veteran. So that's metallic gold with the wash. And then I think this is maybe Canaptic alloy. Or maybe that 50-50 silver gold mix for the highlight. Just like a quick dry brush. Yeah. I wasn't here before, but where are you submitting this? I'm submitting this for Golden Demon. At Adepticon. So, I'm going to Adepticon in March. In Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and yeah, I'm just gonna submit this. I know I'm not gonna win, but just trying to paint this to the best of my ability, and just going through the process of doing so and submitting it, just for the experience. Just trying to challenge myself and push myself. So this will probably be a recurring theme for the next few weeks as I work on the old G-Man. So I'm just coming around with my brown mixture here and doing some highlights, slowly building up the gold effect in its entirety. I think overall I want to go for like 80% coverage on this next layer. Because I want that dark brown to show, but not everywhere. That's the trick. That's sweet. Awesome. Yeah. That's just really, I think, how you improve as a painter. Just forcing yourself to try something that puts you out of your comfort zone. Trying a new technique. Like a big thing I did, this is like 2 years ago now, is I started a Gene Stealer cult army. And I said, this army I'm going to try to paint at the time to the best of my ability. And try to really like do a semi heavy metal style. It's not to the full extent, but it's like an 80% heavy metal style. And I've been pretty pleased with those results. But yeah, I haven't really worked on Gene Stealer Cult a whole lot since until recently, just because it does take a long time for me to paint those. But it's kind of like an army I have on the side that I come back to from time to time because I play multiple armies. Tyranids is my main jam. I have some Space Marines and Eldar, some Knights, a bunch of Necrons. And they're all kind of painted a little bit differently. Some to a higher finish quality than others because I do like to game with fully painted armies and models. And I usually don't field something unless it's painted, so that's also a really good motivation for me to keep painting and completing stuff. My Space Marines I think are at a higher finish quality than some of my other armies. Eldar is kind of a mix. I do a lot of speed paint techniques with them. But the characters I do spend a lot of time on for Eldar. But like the infantry, it's a lot of contrast paints and dry brushing. Challenging yourselves is how we continue to grow as hobbyist painters. Even putting forth the effort, I feel is a great experience. Awards or no, for sure. That's why you're doing Gilliman. Are you a particular Space Marine fan? I gotta turn this music. It's just so freaking loud. Ah, there we go. Yeah, I like. I'm a basic bitch. I love Ultramarines. But I do like, if I were going to do another chapter, I'd do Blood Ravens. Just because I have many fond memories playing Dawn of War on the PC. Dark Angels are also cool. I really like the Black Templars. There's just like a bunch of fanatics. Fanatic Crusader Knights. I think that's really cool. Kind of fun. Sorry, Travis, but I don't like the Space Wolves. They're okay, but... They did some bad touching last crusade. Sure did. I have a personal vendetta against the Space Wolves. Yeah, Tyranids is my main army. I started that when I was a kid. And then I added a lot to my collection since getting full on into 40k again in my adult years. And luckily I held on to all my models. A lot of them were still valid. So that was nice. I just wanted to do Flesh Tears. Oh, Flesh Tears. Those are cool, too. I love the Space Wolves models. The Heresy lore isn't so kind to them, but the 40k lore I like a lot. They do have cool models. Like, there's things I like about the Space Wolves, but I feel like the Heresy lore, yeah, they're kind of, how do I say, obnoxious? I don't like how they have, like, the rules for thee and not for me. The whole, not being a psyker thing. Those poor Thousand Sons. I like the Inquisition. They're cool. Andy Chambers ruined Space Wolves for me. Ooh. Care to elaborate? With the next color here. I like the Inquisition though, they're fun. They're just like so powerful and so rogue. They're very 40k. Gonna slowly build up on this eagle wing here. On his shin. Grey Knights for life. Grey Knights get a pass. Grey Knights are cool. I like them. I think there's a time where people really hated Grey Knights because I forgot what edition it was. I heard that they were really good, and like they just hated Grey Knights players because they were so good. Like they're just broken on arrival, like in the rules. Or so the stories say. I don't think I played during that time. When I played long ago as a kid, I mainly only played against my brother. He played Ultramarines, I played Tyranids. I didn't really play at a game store or, you know, in the competitive scene at all, so I don't even know if they had like an errata or anything to rules. I just play was printed in the book. Times were much simpler back then. I think that was like 5th and 6th edition. 40k. Many moons ago. Alright, we're making progress. I'm gonna finish up this section here. And then we'll do a time check and see where we stand. But it is coming along. Though I feel like I'm kind of starting to hit a little groove here. I haven't painted him in a few days. So kind of getting back into my my rhythm here. They're due for line refresh. You should paint Haldor Drago. Yeah, they are due for a line refresh, that's for sure. I'm sure that'll be coming down the pike. Sooner or later. Yeah, there's a lot of models I want to paint. It'd be fun to paint the Fulgrim, the new Fulgrim model. But I've been sitting on this Gilliman model for a while and kind of needed an excuse to paint them up. I also have a Marnius Calgar I need to paint. And another Ultramarines character, blanking on his name. Not the librarian. He's got the green cape. He's got a sword. He's sitting in a box over here. Captain Uriel Ventus. This guy. Need to paint him up. Picked him up at like a mini swap meet. I usually paint characters on stream. Because you're more likely to see me finish a model from start to finish or in 1 or 2 streams. Just painting a single character versus like a batch painting some infantry or something. A little bit more interesting, I think, painting a character as a viewer. This is starting to get a little messy here. Need to do a little bit of tidying up here. I'm not liking some of this. Yeah, maybe that'll work. Let that dry a little bit. Alright, Ushati Bone is the next color. Very fine tip on the brush here. There's some very, very fine highlights here. Supposed to look like gold. Kind of looks like gold. I don't know, I go back and forth. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, this looks good. And then I'm like, oh, this looks like trash. How about the Votan? I understand why some people don't like the new lineup. They did great in my opinion. Votan. I like some of their models. I'm not a fan of the Dune Buggy, the Hekaton Land Raider. I don't really like that model. I feel like they could have made them look a little bit more grimdark. They look a little too much like they have like that toy look to them a little bit. I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of the aesthetic. Their infantry I think looks cool. I like the infantry. I like their the berserker guys. The hover bikes are okay. I don't know. I'm just not a huge Votan fan. And that's kind of personal preference too. Kind of like AdMech. I'm not a huge AdMech fan. For a lot of their stuff, like their hover tanks. I don't really like the hover tanks. And that's just kind of my personal preference. There, I think. Alright, now we're going to come in with some highlights. Wraithbone. Some watered down Wraithbone on my brush here. Just gonna pick out a few spots. Yeah, I feel like on the other leg, I'm liking the way the gold looks a little bit better. It looks a little more clean. I'm gonna probably have to go back and do a little touch-up on this leg, perhaps. This one's also in the shadow. I don't know. Like this leg, I think. Focus this. The first leg I did, I think looks pretty good. This one, it looks okay. I guess it kind of looks consistent. I think the blending is maybe a little bit more smoother on this one than this one. But I was trying to get more of the dark brown showing for some more drastic contrast. So maybe I just need to go over and do some glazes and clean it up a little bit more. But yeah, I don't know. But this I was gonna do an ivory. What time is it? 9. Oof. Yeah, I think we could try to do that. I got a new paint I want to try out. It's Pro Acryl Bright Ivory. So I'll give this a good shake. And do some ivory. And I think I'm gonna do Carrick Stone as like a dark bit in that. Maybe Rackarth Flesh. It's like a mid-tone. Mix that in. I don't know. Maybe. I don't want it to look too much like the gold. I want it to look like a different material, so I gotta make sure I don't use two similar colors. This is a bright paint. Make sure my hands are nice and clean before I touch G-Man. Don't want to get paint all over it. That'd be a disaster. Absolute disaster. Alright, let's try some bright ivory. very bright. It might be too bright for what I want, but... maybe... Baylor Brown. That'd be an interesting darker shade to mix in there. Let's just see what that looks like. I'm totally experimenting here. Okay, that might actually work for like a darker ivory. Or does that look too gold? That might look too gold. Maybe we need maybe a more neutral brown. We'll try Kyrex Stone. It's a darker tone. Mix in some bright ivory. Yeah, I think that might work. Yeah, we'll see how that looks. All right. So, I'm gonna take brush here. Start dark and build up. And we'll zoom back in. So back to AdMech. I like the Skitarii Rangers, and I like the infantry. I don't like the vehicles. Like the steampunk helicopters and the hover tanks. They just look a little silly to me. Yeah, I don't like the eagle on this leg. I think I might go back and actually repaint it all. To figure out what's wrong with it. Doesn't quite look as good as the first one, so... I think I lost too much of the drastic contrast from light to dark. The first one just came out looking way more clean. I'm going to start taking the lighter tone of that mixture. Start layering that on. Especially over here where it's going to be lighter. And these Pro Acryl paints are very, very watery. Add some highlight here. There's a lot of light on this side of his leg from the torch he's standing by on this base. So to keep that in mind. And the rest will kind of keep in shadow. Do want a little bit of lightness to edge highlight over here, but that might be a little bit too much edge highlight. So I'll bring it back. The darker base coat. Bring it back. There we go. All right. I think, yeah. There we go. Hot take, Primus vehicles are cooler. Why slug on the ground when you can hover? Also, guns everywhere is peak 40k. No. Nothing tops a Land Raider. Pulsar Executioner is not as cool as a Land Raider. Alright. So, this is what we got so far for tonight. Some progress on the Primarch. We almost have 2 full legs done. Then we can go on to the crotch. Ooh. Exciting stuff. You need to paint some words on here, but I always have trouble with their paints. Pro Krill. Yeah. I feel like they're kind of like army painter paints, or the old ones at least, where you shake them and you think they're mixed, but then you have to keep shaking them again. So maybe I just didn't shake this enough. But yeah, they almost like require little to no thinning because they're already thin enough. So if your brush is too wet when you pick it up, it's like bad news bears. I wonder if I can fix this other eagle with some a little bit of Agrax Earthshade. Oh, it's front of mind here. I just need to boost the contrast a little bit in those recesses. Darken it up a little bit. That is helping. It is helping a little bit. I said I was going to fix this later, but I think I'm just going to fix it right now. It's just, it's not warm enough. Is the problem. So I'm going to go back with the dark brown. It's like just on the eagle too. I think maybe I just worked a little too fast. We're going to bring this mostly back to... I think I need more of the Everland Sunset in the mixture to bring through the warm tones. Give a little bit more of the yellow gold. Alright, so we go dark. There you go. Our lighter brown mixture comes up next. Just try to get the edges of the eagle wings. Start to build up a little bit on the eagle's body. the other side. And then next, we'll do Everland Sunset. I think I was afraid to use this color on itself, and I think I did use it on itself last time. I'm starting to remember what I did. My paint, my palette, it's drying out. This dry winter air is just not friendly to the painting. I think this is already looking a bit better, a bit cleaner than the first pass. I'll feel better about it, I think. Alright, now we go in with Ushati Bone. Highlight run here. Oh yeah, I think this is looking a lot better. Much cleaner. Okay. Whew. All right. Well, just do want to touch up one little thing on the blue armor. It's driving me crazy because I went a little outside the lines here. There we go. Okay, folks. Well, it's been 2.5 hours. I should probably stop, otherwise I'll get sloppy and really screw up all this groundwork I've done on the G-Man. I'll keep painting him off camera a little bit, and I'll be painting him next week because I'll be painting him for a while until he's done, and I want to make sure I have ample time to get him finished in time for Adepticon, as well as time to make some cleanups and final touches on him, all that good stuff. So thanks for hanging out and chatting with me and embarking on this journey with me. It's been fun. I'll be here same time next week, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're new to the channel, check out other videos. I got terrain crafting, other painting videos, some battle reports, with a focus on fun, casual, and narrative wargaming with 40k, and a couple other war games as well. If that's your kind of thing, if you like a little bit of variety, definitely check that out. Alright, well, I'm going to leave y'all tonight. Like I said, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next week. Bye, everyone.